You are standing on a frozen plain. The wind is a constant scream. Your stomach is a hollow drum. You have been walking for days. What will you eat today? This is the question that shaped your ancestors. Their answer was not simple. It was not predictable. It was a dance with a world that was always trying to kill you. Your ancestors did not have a grocery store. They did not have a refrigerator. They had two hands, a sharpened stone, and a fire they could barely control. Every day was a gamble, every meal was a victory, and the Ice Age was not one long winter. It was a mosaic of climates, shifting from steppe to tundra to forest. Your menu changed with the seasons. It changed with the animals that walked past your camp. At the Kostanki archaeological site in Russia, researchers uncovered the bones of mammoths, horses, and reindeer, all carefully butchered. You would have eaten mammoth fat first. It was the most precious resource. You would have cracked the long bones for marrow. You would have scraped the hide for every shred of meat. But was that all you ate? Not even close. Dr. Amanda Henry, a paleoanthropologist, examined the dental calculus of Neanderthals from the site of Shanidar Cave in Iraq. What did she find? Starch grains, microscopic fragments of barley and dates. Your Ice Age ancestors did not just eat meat, they gathered plants, they processed seeds. They roasted tubers over the fire. This was not a marginal addition. It was a core part of your survival. Think about that. You are a hunter on the steppe. You track a herd of bison for 3 days. You kill one with a spear. It feeds your band for a week. But what about the other 6 days? What about the plants you collected along the riverbank? You dug for cattail roots. You picked berries in the brief summer. You stored pine nuts in pouches made from animal stomachs. Every bite was a calculated risk. Every bite was a memory. The evidence is written in your bones. Isotopic analysis of ancient skeletons from the site of Dolní Věstonice in the Czech Republic shows a diet rich in meat, but also consistently including freshwater fish and plants. You were not a single-minded carnivore. You were a flexible omnivore. You adapted to whatever the landscape offered. You had to. Now here is the twist. You probably think the Ice Age was a time of constant scarcity. You picture gaunt, desperate people gnawing on frozen scraps, but the archaeological record tells a different story. At the site of Goes Cave in England, researchers found evidence of ritualistic cannibalism. That sounds horrific. But it means that when food was abundant, you had enough to engage in complex social behaviors. You had enough to waste, you had enough to share. Your ancestors did not just survive, they thrived. They decorated their bodies with ochre. They carved figurines from mammoth ivory. They buried their dead with flowers. All of this required energy. All of this required a reliable food supply. How did you get that supply? You innovated. At the site of Mezhyrich in Ukraine, archaeologists found a hut made entirely of mammoth bones. Over 100 skulls and tusks formed the walls. You did not just eat mammoths, you used their bones for shelter, you burned their fat for fuel, you turned their hides into clothing. The animal was a supermarket, a hardware store, and a pharmacy all at once. But you also fermented foods, you dried meat, you made pemmican, a mixture of fat and dried berries that could last for months. Do you remember the taste of pemmican? No, you do not. But your gut might. Your microbiome still carries the signature of those ancient foods. Dr. Justin Sonnenberg, a microbiologist at Stanford, has shown that the bacteria in your gut change based on what you eat. When you eat a modern diet full of processed sugars, your gut loses diversity. When you eat a diet closer to your ancestors, high in fiber, low in sugar, those ancient microbes return. You are literally carrying your Ice Age past inside you. So what did you actually eat in a typical day? Imagine waking up at dawn. The fire is still smoldering. You take a piece of dried aurochs meat from your pouch. You chew it slowly. It is tough. It is salty. It gives you strength. Then you leave the camp with a group of women. You walk to a patch of wild carrots. You dig them up with a stick. You eat them raw. They are bitter. They are fibrous. They are alive. By midday, you return to camp. A hunter has brought down a young reindeer, you help butcher it. You eat the liver immediately, it is warm. It is rich in vitamin C. You do not know the word vitamin, you only know that your body feels stronger. You save the stomach. You stuff it with leftover meat and berries, that is your dinner. As the sun sets, you gather around the fire, you roast a piece of fat on a stick. It drips into the flames. You share stories, you laugh, you eat, you sleep. Tomorrow you will do it all over again, but tomorrow might be different. A storm could come. A predator could attack, the herd could move away, you live with uncertainty, you live with hunger, but you also live with richness. Now consider your modern life. You walk into a brightly lit room filled with food from every corner of the planet. You have bananas in winter, you have avocados from Mexico, you have cereal boxes with cartoons on them. You have forgotten what it means to be hungry. But your body has not. Your body still craves fat. Your body still stores sugar. Your body still expects a feast after a famine. That is the mismatch. Dr. Lauren Cordain, a researcher in evolutionary nutrition, argues that many modern diseases, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, come from this mismatch. Your genes are still tuned to the ice age. Your brain still rewards you for finding honey. But now honey is everywhere. Now the feast never ends. So what can you learn from your ancestors? Not that you should eat like them, you cannot. The mammoths are gone, the steppe is paved, but you can understand the rhythm, you can eat whole foods, you can fast sometimes, you can move your body, you can remember that food is not just fuel, it is connection, it is survival, it is grace. You are standing on a frozen plain, the wind is a constant scream. Your stomach is a hollow drum, you have been walking for days. What will you eat today? Perhaps you will reach into your pack and pull out a piece of dried meat. Perhaps you will dig for roots. Perhaps you will share with your family. But the question itself is the point. Your ancestors asked it every single day, and their answers shaped the world you now live in. You are here because they found a way. You are here because they never stopped asking.